Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Novak again. I received an email from Aaron, and I talked to Aaron.
Where are you? Where is Aaron right now?
Oh, quite some time ago, and he was telling me about his aquarium. But I thought I'd give you the email he sent me, exactly the email he sent me, and he puts in the email. He says, Aaron does. Here's my annual winter update for the great state of Iowa. Let's see. Help, my fish are doing too good. Never, you don't hear a lot of people say that, do you? You know, but here Aaron saying it. Okay, my 8 anoxic filter aquariums. So he's got 8 aquariums going, and pond are doing so well. I've decided to add a few more to the mix. Reason being is a lack of maintenance has made things so easy to take care of, and I'm adding 2 210-gallon aquariums and a 60-gallon cube and 2 grow-out tanks for young fish with BCB bags before they go into display tank. So he's got quite a lot. The fish in my 120-gallon tank have gotten so big that they are being moved to a 210-gallon tank. The 210 currently houses not so baby arowana, festivums, silver dollars, geophagus, angels, flagtail, flying fox, severums, and synodontis catfish. Let's see, I'm cleaning the 2 canister filters. He's got 2 canister filters apparently on the tank. I'm cleaning the 2 canister filters twice a year. Did you hear that? Twice a year. That's really got to be a big project, huh? Have to clean your canister filters every 6 months. Twice a year, and I'm finding that once a year might be sufficient. Wow. I'm averaging a 50% water change about every 4 months. That's not bad. I guess always guests that come over always comment how nice the tank and fish look and want to know my secret to such a big fish. The festivum and silver dollars regularly spawn in the tank, but the eggs don't stand a chance. Let's see, I clean the glass 4 times a year. Now that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Like I have explained, I used to use an anoxic filter only for my pond. The pond had like 17 koi in it, some being as large as 28 inches. I think there were 3 of them that were 28 inches. A lot of them were 24 inches, 18 inches. The pond, the anoxic filter had about 21 BCB baskets in it, 11 by 11 by 7, and about 3 water lilies. That was 400 gallons, and 800 gallons was where the fish were at. And anyone would, when they came over and looked, they said, holy cow, how can you have this many fish and this kind of water? In fact, let me tell you, people used to say that and, be very surprised. They said, well, I don't advocate that you overstock a pond like this. I'm just trying to show you how powerful an anoxic filter is using BCB baskets. And one year, a DVM came over with somebody, and they brought a professional Lamont test kits with them, one that a DVM would use. And they said, can we test your water? I said, yeah, go ahead, test it. So they tested it, and they found nothing wrong with it. All my water parameters. Now, that's not just a story that I have, but I have other people who use the anoxic filter also, like for their ponds. And people said, oh, may we take a sample of your water? The homeowner said, yeah, go ahead. You could take a sample if you want. So they had a jar with them, and they took a sample. And then after the guy tested out the water, he took it home because he was trying to think of what kind of filter do I want, So he took a sample of their water because they had a lot of fish. And he called him up and said, I sampled your water and there's nothing in it. He said it was excellent compared to the samples I got from other people's ponds, and of course he went with the anoxic filter because that's what he was doing. He's going around sampling people's ponds to find out how good their water quality was before he decided to build his pond, and he wanted to make sure he had the best water quality. Well, it just so happens the guy's name was Zach, and it just so happens Zach built a big 12,000 gallon pond with the anoxic filter. He used to grow out koi and then sell them to people because the people with the very expensive Nexus filters, they could not grow their koi as big as Zach could grow his koi, and using the anoxic filter. That's a true story. Let's see. Okay, Aaron. Let's go back to Aaron's email here. Let's see. The 75 gallon plant to tank has also has done very well. Let's see. Still experimenting with liquid fertilizers and CO2 to find the perfect balance and lush growth. Let's see. Algae has not been an issue at all. Water changes are also done 2 to 4 times per year with no ill effects or effects for lack of changing. So he hasn't found, just because he's only doing water changes 2 to 4 times a year, he's not finding any problems with only doing it that often. The tank houses discus. Now, right there, that ought to stop everybody in their tracks. You're doing 2 to 4 times a year at water change, and you have discus. Let me tell you, this was unheard of before the anoxic filter came around. Believe me, anyone who's been around and had discus will tell you this was unheard of. Unheard of. You did water changes almost every other day in a discus aquarium because they were that finicky and touchy. You had to do your water changes on a constant basis. He's doing it 2 to 4 times a year. Let's see, the tank houses discus, blue varkas, angels, cories, bristlenose, Columbia tetras, royal plecos, and some other catfish. These fish are approximately 2 years old, and most are now spawning. So that's pretty good. Then he makes a statement. He says, saltwater tanks are doing good, but I'm getting bored with saltwater, so they may be going. Getting bored with saltwater. When I had saltwater, it wasn't that I was bored of them in reality. I just found it to be so much work when I had them. It was very expensive, and today it's astronomically expensive. They weren't the prices they are today, like buying fish and coral. It was nowhere near the prices that people are asking today for some of these fish and corals and stuff, That's one reason I don't get into saltwater. It's way, way too expensive to dip your toe into the waters for saltwater. For me, okay, maybe not for other people. They don't mind spending the money, but it's just gotten out of hand. The hobby has. Let's see, 3 40-gallon breeders with a breeding group of king tiger plecos, snake swordtails, and doing great and always producing babies. Fly river turtle has been temporarily banned to the 40-gallon breeder for being naughty behavior, and he's doing great. That's also another thing. If you think about what the biggest abused pet is? Turtles. It is unbelievable how if you get someone like sanctuaries, you can bring your turtles to, how they find out all kinds of fungus, deformities, and everything else with turtles that people buy. It seems like they're very hard to keep, especially without them getting diseases or contorted or not growing correctly. I remember reading about that in Practical Fish Keeping from the United Kingdom. They said they get a ton of turtles that people can't take care of. Water turtles, like your red air sliders or something like that, is what they get in, where people don't take care of them correctly and keep their water in tip-top condition. Let's see. It's doing great. Okay, turtle's doing great. Soon to be upgraded to a 210 with rainbow fish for a very natural environment. And my other 40 breeder houses my grow out colony of Wario and vampire and snowball plecos. They too are also going to another 210 South American setup. So, wow, he's getting some big tanks, 210 gallons, yeah. Maintenance has also been minimal with the plenum and all run an additional 5-watt power sponge filter. I really don't like air-driven sponge filters. So he runs a sponge filter with them, but apparently he's running them with a power head or something, it sounds like. The newest tank is an Aquarium 60-gallon that was purchased at Petco for $134. Remember on my video in December, I talked about I went to a Petco. All the tanks were 50% off. Even that 60-gallon cube, that Aquarium 60-gallon cube, was it was $143, but it was half price. But like I said, I ordered a 15-gallon, and for the price, it wasn't too bad with my 15-gallon. But yeah, that's a 60-gallon cube, and that was half price. So that was a really decent deal. That's why I did a video on it in case any of you were interested in going to run into Petco and maybe pick one up. They're real big tanks, though. You know, they're 125, they're 75, and they're 40-gallon breeders. They were all out of course, people probably bought those up right away. Let's see. Really liking the rimless look. Yeah, it's a nice looking tank. I looked at it. Some people said, you know, there were different people saying different things about the quality of that particular rimless tank. But I thought it wasn't too bad of a price, you know, because most of them are running the 200 price. It also utilizes a plenum setup, but I use red fluoride and fluval stratum instead of like your oil dry. This time, so he's not using any oil dry, but he's using the other two, which I use in my 40-gallon. I use the red fluoride, along with gravel and a little sand for looks. I put a big, tall piece of driftwood in the middle of a volcanic look. There's a picture he sent me of that. It looks pretty neat. Okay, and he's got it all built up. I think that looks pretty neat. I once saw a tank like that. Gosh, that tank had to have been, I'm just guessing, that was at least 500 gallons and perfect square. Okay, it was a perfect square tank. It could have even been more, but it was, I'm going to say that tank was 5 foot or 6 foot, 5 foot by 5 foot by 5 foot. Perfect square, or it was 6 foot by 6 foot by 6 foot. It was a long time ago. It was a perfect square, and they did that in the center, built it up, and it looked real neat. I thought, wow, this looks neat, you know, this aquarium, and it was like their showpiece in the shop. It was the name of the shop was called Weber's Aquarium, and it was there in Chicagoland. They used to breed their own fish there, and you could buy real nice angelfish at Weber's Aquarium. And I used to go there once in a while. All their tanks, Very nice shop, really. Very nice, clean, neat. All their tanks were 40-gallon breeders. Nothing was smaller than a 40-gallon breeder to put their fish in. They and they all had just gravel in them, if I can remember correctly. I can't remember how they filtered them. And in the back room, if you went in the back, away from the sails, they had these big, huge cement tanks, a lot of them, and that's where they did their breeding and their grow out for their fish that they would breed right there on the spot. But yeah, I remember they had excellent black angels, just excellent. Let's see. Let me go on with this. Along with gravel and a little sand for looks, I put a big, tall piece of driftwood in the middle and a 6500K 200-watt shop floodlight for lighting. So Aaron, if that light doesn't work very good for that 60-gallon, go with the GE Ultra Brights that I've been using. A 60-gallon tank, you could try out maybe a 300. They're daylight, but you can go with the 300, or you can even go with the 4,000 lux, or you even go step up. You can buy these at Lowe's. Step up to the bigger one, which is 6,000 lux. Okay, and I think that was 400 watt equivalent, 400 watts, and then the other ones that are 4,000 lux, Aaron, are I think 4,000 luminous output. Very bright, but if that light doesn't work out with you, I really like the ones, and you can use a can light for that. And for a 60-gallon tank, one light, probably with the stronger light, I would go with the stronger light. One light will probably be more than enough for that 60-gallon tank. If I remember it, 60-gallon is 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot, something like that. Shop light for lighting. I may add, he's talking about maybe adding a different light for added pop of color for the fish, but we'll see how the shop light goes for now. It was only $50. So I wonder what it is. Maybe it's one of those square ones, that LED. Like I said, if it doesn't work, he's got a lot of options. Just going to do peaceful fish in this one, and I might also add a breeding group of zebra plecos. Who knows? Let's see. People that see all my tanks and plants want to know why theirs don't look like that. Okay, people who see his tank want to know why their tanks aren't mimicking his tanks. Well, that's because he's using an anoxic filter. And, that makes the difference when you're using an anoxic filter, plenums or BCB bags or something like that. It makes a big difference on the tank. They always ask how I do it. I tell them I just feed them the fish. I just feed them the fish variety of food and sit back and enjoy. Don't get me wrong. I've seen some amazing tanks and fish with other people or other hobbyists, but none run a plenum like I do, and their maintenance schedule just isn't sustainable for a normal person like me. And that's exactly right. Some people, they have very successful tanks. I'll admit it. You look at them, they're beautiful, but their maintenance is high maintenance. And I just can't do that kind of maintenance. Even myself, I don't want to do that kind of maintenance. A plenum coupled with mechanical filters such as a canister or dirt magnet is a match made in heaven. I couldn't be happier, and my fish seem to be, well, doing okay too. Thanks again for the inspiration. I feel like a kid again. It's nice to get letters like this. Really. I got more I have to get to, people sending me pictures. Good. I like that. I like when people do that. But this was a very good email. He sent me some pictures. That's what you're looking at. So I thought I would give you an update. But he does mention a few shocking things in here, doesn't he? Maintenance. His maintenance is lower than other hobbies maintenance that use a different filtration system. Big difference there. His is, like he says, that if he had to do the maintenance they did, it wouldn't be sustainable for him to do it. It'd just be way too much. And I can understand he's got a lot of fish tanks, and he's got a lot of big fish tanks, especially when you deal with big fish tanks and big fish. You got to keep the maintenance, plausible. You know what I mean? It just has to be that way. But I thought I would share you. This is one of the letters I got. I get letters like this all the time, but I thought I would tell you so you can get firsthand. Here's what somebody's saying. Here's the fish they have. They're breeding constantly. Even has discus in their aquarium. Doesn't do water changes except maybe just a few times a year. That was unheard of. Believe me, that was just unheard of just a few years ago. You just could not do that. It couldn't be done because discus needed to have their water changed at least almost twice to 3 times a week. They were high maintenance fish. Beautiful fish, very high maintenance. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I have more, but I like getting these emails and reading exactly what the people are saying. Sorry for me, stammering a little bit with the lettering, because sometimes people condense things, what they're saying, and I'm just trying to, bring it so you understand a little bit better. That's my fault. They condense things on their emails and all. But I thought I would try to read you directly from the horse's mouth of what Aaron's doing and the success he's having. So apparently, though people may say it doesn't work, apparently it's working fine for this gentleman and a lot of others. So until next time, this is Dr. Novak. Happy fish keeping. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for the pictures and the updates of your aquariums, because I believe that's one thing I don't see in other people's videos. They don't really give you updates of how people who are watching your videos are doing. I try to. Hey, this is what I'm getting. This is what I'm showing you. This is what I'm telling you. So you could see that, hey, there are people who are being very successful. So until next time, happy fish keeping, and thank you for watching.